Hi, this is Mia. I had this. I'll show you this since it's sitting right here. I really like sparkles and glitter, and I had this. Oh, it's upside down. I had this. Oh gosh, it's way too dark in here. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'll open this curtain up. I should have like. Sometimes I want things to be primitive. Like, they be that primitive. I like sparkles and glitter. I was gonna see if I had this. You can tell a little bit. And it actually ended up coming in. No, I don't think this is the roll. It was for like a couple bucks at the store, and it actually ended up being only like 3 sheets. So big by so big. I don't know anyone. I might have used it already. What the heck happened to it? 3 sheets inside of the roll, so it wasn't even like a roll, you know. And I felt ripped off. And this was with like the holiday wrapping paper, or maybe it wasn't. I think I refused to go to the holiday wrapping paper. I went to where the regular cards and stuff was, so it's kind of like wedding-ish or something. But to me, it was like there were sparkles and there was like stars, and I was like, well, I guess those are flowers and hearts. It looks like sparkly snowflakes, so I got it. And I was going to make. I showed you a bunch of Christmas cards I made. I don't even know what happened to them right now. And I had made a bunch of bookmarks, and I was like, oh shoot, like a month later, because I started these around. I was like, oh my gosh. I think I sent people homemade bookmarks last year. I'm like, you know what? They're getting it. Like, they're getting another one. I never remember anyone saying anything. My eyes look really tired. It's because I am really tired. I don't remember anyone ever saying thanks or anything, and I was like, oh, they probably threw it in the garbage. And so now I was like, making these that they're probably sitting right under me, because I keep moving stuff. I don't have a lot of, like, space. I wish I could, like, put stuff in the space. And, actually, I think I took them all downstairs. And I was like, yeah, I had to wrap my dad's gift in time. So today's Friday. Christmas is next Friday. I have sent no one any cards, except for my dad, because I needed to give him a gift, because he has been the only supportive person, and my uncle has been somewhat supportive, but they they grew up in poverty, but there was places and programs and people could work and get out of poverty. Like, you could work any type of job and have some money to your pocket. Now it's like you work any type of job, it's all already sucked away. Maybe I think that's just my problem, because most people around me, they're buying a lot of nice it up. But I'm like, my one of my relatives like, oh, certain people, they don't understand that some people are like really struggling. Like, for instance, I had been homeless multiple times, and I'm like, oh my god, something's wrong with me. Or I'm like, what if I'm really rebellious? Like, oh my gosh, what if that's what it, like, sometimes you're just like, oh shoot, my lease ran out. I forgot. Like, this is what happened the first time I became homeless. Oh shoot, my lease ran out, because my mom and my mother-in-law had just died, and I was 21, and they were like, you need to tell us if you're going to rent this place, because we have a wait list. And I was like, my mom died, my mother-in-law died first, 2 weeks later my mom died, and there was 2 funerals, and there, I was just like, like, oh wait, you never told us, we're renting this room to someone else. I was like, oh shoot. Like, I had been spending the whole year driving out of town, going to hospitals. I had missed a test. I was supposed to graduate with my bachelor's degree that week. I had missed a test and flunked the class, because I thought with the first test and all the projects I would get a C and pass. And then I had missed a internship. The counselor, he refused to, he didn't like the only black program, and it just makes me feel sick. They're like, I don't like you, I'm not going to help you. So me and my ex were like, okay, we got kicked out because, or I got kicked out. It was my room. Didn't sign the lease. I was going to sign the lease, or at least they said you can live in this room or you can rent the room if you're going to leave for the summer. Lease it as a storage space for a few, like $100 or whatever. Hold your spot and then come back, and because the rent was only like $200 and something a month, $240 if you paid on time, and it covered everything, including all you can eat food. It had parking, it had room, and actually had a private room. It would have been cheaper, I think, if I had shared my room with somebody. Crazy. I shared my room, but yeah, I think maybe it would be like a little less than that. That was all in the 90s, so, but I just hate. Sometimes I think I told you yesterday that I had my work office. All I had were these bills. These bills were like $500 worth of bills, and this one I didn't even count for the whole year. It was like 1,000 something for this insurance, malpractice insurance, and then I only was paying partial for the one insurance, so I basically had to pay a little more cheaper because I paid $300-400 to pay out the whole year. But I was hoping to have income by then. So like the first thing you want to do, I'm not a business expert. The first thing I want to do when I get income is pay off the stuff that's keeping me in the office space. Pay off the office space, the lease, pay the phone and internet, which that almost sounds like a luxury item, but I definitely did not want people calling my cell phone. And when I was trying to do house calls, I was advertising with my cell phone. I even tried to do Google Voice, and I don't even know, like, sometimes you'll call somebody and it'll be the Google number that you've called. The person, whatever, is not available, and it just, like, hangs up. Like, I don't know, someone I was trying to call would say, the Google Voice subscriber you are calling is not available. Please try back later or something. And I was like, I didn't know how it really worked. We had it set up through our school student doctor account, where it went your voicemail. You could trigger it to go to Google Voice, and then Google. I don't know how though. And then Google Voice would trigger your cell phone. And mine, it would just ring and hang up. Or it says, you have an incoming call or something, and then hang up. It would never, like, I don't know. It never finished the statement, and it would, sometimes it would button or something. It always hang up on me, but it stimulated me enough to know that I had a voicemail message. So then I would, because we were in class, we had to still answer these patients, and you have so many hours to answer them, and then you have to, because we were students, we had to contact the supervising physicians to clarify what we're going to say to the patients. And then, because we're not like, just really, like, sometimes I would call the patient back if I was in a class and be like, hi, I got your message. I understand that you wanted to know if you could take such and such a counter. But I just want to get back to you as soon as possible because I need to ask my supervising physician their opinion, or I just need to clarify it with them, and I'll call you back as soon as I hear back from them. I may have to leave a message, but it should, I estimate it should be by 5 o'clock today. Like, I would say something like that. It's like, I don't know, we were making it up. It's not like somebody gave us a class on phone etiquette. Did I say that right? Etiquette. So, yeah, I like that, and then I had this Google Voice number because use 971 numbers. I think you had to pick a Google Voice phone number, and then it had to go to your cell phone. That was a local number, because across the river, Vancouver, Washington, it's a long distance number, I guess. I don't know. Everyone is giving people free long distance now. Because I called the phone company, I was like, my bill is way too high. And they're like, do you use long distance? I was like, everyone you meet at a place, at least 50% of people are using non-local phone numbers on their cell phones. And most people do not have a home phone sitting in their house. So it's like, I would be scared to see what my bill would be. If I had my house phone, I could look. And then all my relatives live back east. If I were to call people, I would hate. I remember that. Oh my gosh, like, I remember my family calling grandma and calling their relatives, but not like a lot. And I remember trying to call people long distance a little bit, like when I met people at camp and stuff. And I think, it was that thing like call in the evening after some time, or like 9 or whatever, 7 or 9. The cell phone is like, I think it's supposed to be after 9 you can call without getting charged, but some cell phone companies were just having, I know it has always been like, not. I only have 1,000 minutes and I have phones. That's just another reason I have a home phone, because I only have 1,000 shared minutes between 3 phones. It used to be 1,500 and the price was cheaper. And then I added a phone and they made the price more expensive, but they took away the minutes. And before I had 1,500, and my one kid had like 500 minutes. And then my other kid, I added his phone. They took away her 500, took away my extra 500, was 1,000 for 3 people. And then I paid to that's a month to do mobile to mobile through T-Mobile. And I think you have to pay for that for all of them. So that's, once taxes, that's like $30, so that I can call my kid without having that count as 1,000 minutes. Because I feel like that's the primarily having kids that aren't together. Their daycare was rowdy, or they were walking to people's houses, or going to Girl Scouts on the bus, like weird stuff. Like, it's kind of was a safety thing. My ear hurts really bad. But yeah, I was like, I don't want to mess with that. Like, I remember trying to be calling people on the weekends and holidays. This is the olden days. Holidays was cheaper, but you still had like 7 cents a minute or something in the old days. Or it was never like I could pick up the phone right now. I'm paying a buttload for having a home phone. I could pick up the home phone and call back east and not think about which is the price is so high. The same with faxing stuff. A lot of people still have 800 numbers, but sometimes I don't. I'll just use their regular number. Oh, that reminds me. And I didn't want to mess around, because I feel like back then it's like you're talking to grandma or something, and everyone's like, hurry up, come on. Or they want to get the phone back, but they don't want to say, hi. Because they're like, counting the time. Okay, 10 minutes, that's... No. So I paid these 2 bills, and I look tired. I feel tired. We went to Food Bank, and I wanted to go. I went with my kid who has it for class. She needs to volunteer so many hours, and I wanted to go through the line. It's like, kid's friend was there, old friend from 11 years ago was there, and I was like, I don't want to just start going through the line. Like, I felt so prideful. Like, these people watched me struggle through the medical school, and now I have my license, and I've been having the license for a year, and I've had several people do consults with me, but they didn't in my previous, because I wanted to be that person. Like, you get one person, and then you get the next person, you get the next person. So I also have have been having a fit with midwifery training because it's so inconsistent. Now, if you're running a business 40 hours, for me, like more like 50 hours or more a week, and you got a lot of deadlines, but then you're like even when I was doing job search, it was like, oh my god, this job closes tomorrow at 5. And you could get called to a birth. So, thinking, I don't know, mentally, I was thinking mentally, like, using your brains, it's a no-brainer to say, oh my god, this job, quality, like, it's a good location, great hours. You want to fight for it, and part of fighting for it is getting your application in before the deadline. Okay, 1. 2, making sure your resume and your cover letter are not, that don't have any typos, minimally. And then 3, make sure that it would be ideal, it's like I say puff it up, but I liked to tailor each resume and job. Like, if I was applying for a job where you had to take care of children and prepare food, then I would highlight my experience with that. If I'm doing a job where I'm drawing blood and administering medications in a care facility, then I want to highlight my experience and education towards that. And also consider the references. Like, these people knew children, these people with medications and doing blood draws and medical type stuff. So it's like, I feel like in the olden days, especially if you had a simple education, like, oh, I went to bachelor degree in this. My bachelor degree education was not simple though, but I could say, boom, one school, and these 3 or 4 jobs, and these volunteer activities, and these. It was just like generic resume. It was like, I didn't need, like, this is it. It wasn't like 15 pages of stuff where I had to pick. Now it's like, I can't turn in a 15 pages resume, and I don't care about this club, Fishery and Wildlife Club. Well, sometimes I put the Fishery and Wildlife Club that I did in 1998 or whatever, 1996 to 1998. They don't care about that. So I'm like, they don't care about, they're not going to read 15 pages about it if all I have to use that. So in the olden days, it felt like you could just print this one resume, and I used to go to the workforce, volunteer to take all the classes through the state to get help, and they would have a nice resume paper. They'd have envelopes and thank you cards so you could thank the people that interviewed you or whatever. And just having that. And then there could be like generic, kind of. I didn't really do, it seems like in the early 2000s, I didn't ever apply for jobs that really needed cover letters. I was first applying, and then it got to be resumes and applications, and now it was resumes, cover letters that you make yourself, and then they would have applications online so you had to have your computer work, fill out all their questions, kind of take a look at your resume and be like, what year did you go to this college? What year did you do this? What year did you get your CPR card? From what agency? Da-da-da. Please upload all this document. So then you're scanning and uploading. So I was doing all this. So it's a no-brainer to think, I really want this job. Say it's at the local hospital or 3 miles down the street. Oh my gosh, I can almost walk there. And you would think, I don't have a job. My kids don't have school today. You would think, oh, I do have a new training. Oh, I am on call first. This is due tomorrow at 5. Or this is due Wednesday at 5. And especially a lucky computer like me that sometimes takes 2 days to do a 15-minute job, you're going to sit down and work on it. And you want to say, for me, I would be like, I want to get it done at least 1 day in advance. And birds are no birds. It's like, just in case you have to go to the library, you have to borrow if your computer, like my computer flops so many times that I miss deadlines because of it. And So waiting until 3 minutes before it needs to be submitted. Also, I've done that with with the application for scholarship. I think they can see that time and date. Like, this person turned this in 3 minutes before it's due. Really? I think they just, like, trash that. I don't know. I pretty much feel like they will see a receipt of that. Mind, it says, sit down, get your folder. I actually have an employment folder. This is what I was using. And one of my biggest issues was, let's see if I have it in here. One of my biggest issues was, actually, I don't have any in here. I had this issue with the fact that each printer ink color costs $50. So not wanting to print stuff, but I was really thinking, I wasn't getting any callbacks, so I was like, with computer issues, I was just like, print off the job description, like, that they give you, and say, you must have these qualifications, you must have this many years of experience, and, like, that's my opinion. You can keep it on the computer, but I like to scribble on stuff, so it's almost like, put it on here, like, bold, and highlight it. I like to have it printed off, so that when I do my resume, I like to do and mark up stuff, I can highlight, you absolutely have to have these qualifications, or we will not even look at your application. Highlight that. Make sure before you waste you have those qualifications. And then I would work on my resume in this, and I usually always have typos. The later it gets in the day, the more typos. Even I've proofread stuff at like 1 in the morning and read it later, and it was horrible. I was like at 10 o'clock at night, it was just like, it was perfect. I was like, wait, let me add this, let me do this, let me re-proofread it. And it's just like, it's almost like you fell asleep on the keyboard and then printed it. And that spell check didn't catch something weird. Sometimes you get your words, so I just think it's a weird last name or an acronym or something. I've seen some stuff where I know for a fact at 10 o'clock at night I print it. So I like to print off my paper and take a pencil or whatever. I like to use the pencil in case, like, what if this is the only copy and my printer breaks? Then I can erase the pencil marks and turn that copy in. Better than nothing. I hate to say it like that. Like, just run it to somebody's office. Please take this to HR. But I try to do it. Like, that's a pretty. I've had my printer break and trying to upload stuff on a cell phone and print it, and then it's like all blurry, and then it's like it won't let me adjust it, and the margins are off, and all this crazy stuff. It's like, or like, I feel like you could white out something and go to the library and photocopy or something like that. But I hate how things. We have I had these 6 binders I was telling you about from one of my classes, but I'm recycling for the yellow. The original is the white system. We had 6 binders we were supposed to make with a group. My group fizzled out. And I'm keeping the original on there so that I can actually, I'm sure I have stuff that needs to go in to the original. Anyways, I'll talk about that later. One of them is what ifs. And I should have printed them out when I was a student because there's a whole bunch of what ifs. And it's like, what the heck is this? Oh, Sierra Springs. Neighbors. It's like the neighbors. I'm not the only one who doesn't want to drink the water on the top. But I you're health conscious. I hate spending so much time and energy with what ifs. And I've had so many times, like one time my paper was due, I think he said we could turn it in a week after spring break or something like that, but it had to be in by like 3 o'clock. And I was working on it, and I was having this computer that didn't work, and I was trying to finish it, and I had my son end up being sick and missed school, and I don't know if I had to pick him up. It was a mess, and I had this sick kid, and I didn't finish. Like, it looks really bad if you're the teacher and you see this frazzled student showing up late, running up the stairs with a sick child and a crumpled up paper. It looks so bad. It's like so hard to be alone and raising your kids and going to medical school and having people bail on you for babysitting and trying to hire people to babysit, and they're like, yeah, right, you're so poor, you can't pay me, but you're like desperately will borrow from anyone, from any bank, because you can't sit in the school with your kids. So it's like you quit school because you don't have a babysitter, or you go and borrow a whole bunch of money that you can, so that you can go and get your career. And anyways, I'm so mad. It just, and on my end, they're gonna compare my project with somebody who's doing, people were printing. I handed mine because it was a creative project. I'm a left-handed and very creative, and I did all mine right-brained, and I actually flunked the project and had to redo it. And the teacher told me that I was the worst student in his class and all this stuff. And I felt sick to my stomach because when you're a parent and you're in school and your kid's up all night with growing pains or puking, having diarrhea, or you're in the emergency room because they fell or someone kicked him, like my son kicked him in the head, so you're sitting in that emergency room for 4 hours, your kid has a concussion, puking all over, going over the side of the room, putting the kids to bed, trying to clean up this mess, making sure your kid doesn't die by shining a flashlight in his eye in the middle of the night, and then you get up and go back to school by 7:30 in the morning. You're running to get the last parking spot, rushing, trying to, I have to get to that class. I've got 30 seconds. And you're leaving everything in the car, running to class just in time to sign the sign-in sheet, and you're just like, oh, I made it. Get your kids school calls, your kid's puking, you gotta come right away, and you're just and you're always getting letters from people saying how much you suck and how much of a bad job you're doing. It's like people would be like, oh, we have a study group right now, we're gonna go out to eat and study all night, and I'm like, well, I gotta get my kids from childcare within 25 minutes in a rush hour, and it's like, you miss out on maybe that person has kids, we're never gonna invite her to study again. And it's like, you do all this so that you can go to school, so you don't have to work 3 minimum wage jobs, and then you get into debt. And for someone like me, then you end up being so worn out by the time you finish your education that you can't even, you run out of money, you run out of energy to even go after your dream. And my dream is to sit in the office with a patient and provide primary care medicine. And I'm sitting at home crying on a video because I don't have any patients. And it's like, I feel like after all that, me studying, going to school every single day, it got towards the end where I was in school 7 days a week because there was Saturday, Sunday classes. It was just, besides studying, you can come home and study and be like, I don't care, I'm going to kick back and watch TV for half an hour. But when you actually have to be in class 7 days a week, there's no kicking back. There's no sitting at the kitchen table eating dinner with your kids. It's you can't. There's attendance required, and so you think that you're going to work real hard kids out of government housing and get out of having all these inspections, get out of people telling you that they're going to evict you because you have a outdoor chair on your front porch. And no, it's not one of those nice cedar wooden chairs with the matching table and it's just the cheapest freaking thing that I can get at the store. I looked at stuff so cheap that in the store it was broken, and I was like one notch above that, and it does look tacky because it's cheap, because we're poor, and all my neighbors have indoor chairs on their porch. At the last place we lived, they'd write people up for having their dining room tables, chairs on the porch. These people never got written off for that. But I'm just like, every day, people send me emails, voicemails, come to my door, your neighbor's porch, into your yard. That's the lease violation. You're going to 30-day eviction notice. This happens again, you're out of here. 5 days, you're out of here. And they'll print it up, and they'll highlight it, and they'll send you a copy in the mail, and they're like, copy sent to my boss, and you're like, I check the yard every night with a flashlight. It's like, it just like sprouted this morning before I even got out of bed, and you just like feel you never do anything right. And it's like, the kid's dad never helped with the kids. The kid's dad never paid for anything for the kids. And I was married to this person for 10 years. So I made a commitment to stay married to somebody. And after I made this commitment, a year later had one child and then had another child. And I'm always the troublemaker, and I'm the one who's cleaning up the puke. I'm the one that's driving them to school for 11 years. I'm the one that's paying so they can go see a doctor or a naturopath. I'm the one that's taking them to the emergency room because the kid at school beat them up or did this or that. I'm the one that's having to leave work or school because my kid's puking. I'm the one that's, now that I missed a mandatory class, has to clean up this kid who's sick and then take them to the doctor, which happens to be like 15 miles away or whatever it is, in traffic, over a river, and sit in a place where people are coughing just so I get a note so I don't flunk out of school. It's like, I'm the one account the other day and said I have $11 left in my checking, and that I had sat there after I lost my job, hardly spending a dime, and going to the food bank with food allergies. I can't even eat anything, and it's like, it's like every day I wake up and there's a notice on my door, there's an email, all this is before 8 a.m. There's a phone message that saying, you are such a mess up. And I feel like the closer I get to actually being able to do my goal, the more it happens. So this morning, I felt like I give up. Like, people are sending me job notices for being a dishwasher. And I'm like, I hate chemicals on my hands. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy a big pack of rubber gloves that go up my arms, and I'm gonna freaking go and apply for a job as a dishwasher. I feel like, and that's how I feel. But it's like all those Christmas cards I was talking about and I made, and I was telling you, I was getting on a video just now saying, I really love glitter. In the original, my very beginning was, I really love glitter, but this stuff made a mess everywhere, and I'm like, I was gonna send my, I read that you're not really supposed to laminate stuff that you put glitter on, because A, it could tear up the machine, B, the glitter and the glue will melt, D, if it does work, it'll easily peel off, and it won't be using this tape, which I also moved, not this kind of tape, but the big clear tape, and just like folding it over, I don't know if it has air pockets and everything in it, and then putting a piece of string in the top, and I almost was like, you know what I should do? I should sit down and glue a bunch of cards together, let them dry overnight, and just send them like that. And I'm like, I wonder how people would feel if they opened up my Christmas cards. Like, I was going to put glue all over the Christmas cards that I made with the scrapbooking paper. And the scrapbooking paper is like, put regular Elmo's glue on it, it curls crazily. And then I was really trying to be cute with, I don't like saying that, it reminds me of my mom. I had the little circle I kept showing you that I had to get out of it. And I was trying to glue it on to give it some depth and some, just to be creative. And I had ended up, this paper here. So I'm not a scrapbooker, so I don't even know what you're, like, you're just supposed to, like, take a page of this and stick a bunch of puffy things and tags on it and say whatever. So yeah, this page I cut out the circles and I was gluing them on, but the Elmer's glue was causing the paper to really curl up. So then I was trying to flatten them, some of the stuff up, and then I was trying to flatten them. Anyways, I was like, oh, I'm just going to put some glue on there, because, you know, you get those glitter cards, and there's hardly any dust. You might get a little on your fingers. But I was like, what if somebody opened this card, and, like, all this glitter falls all over their outfit, and their dinner, and their house, like, even if they like glitter like me, are they going to be like, oh my gosh. So when I got this, and I opened it, and I had to take, it was in that pieces that were in this roll, kind of shoved in there, and then it was like, everywhere, and I was like, I really like glitter, but I don't like this, like, I'm gonna have to vacuum, I don't like this, I'm like, it's gonna get in my animal's cage, it's gonna get in all my laundry, it's gonna get all over the gifts, and then even we had these really old ones, I really like these, old, some of them, like this one has like a little bit of glitter, like just barely any. Most of these have foil. I like to not use these because they're so cute, you know. We used to try to reuse stuff. Like, you reuse the wrapping paper from one kid, just fold it up, and the next year just wrap something else, and it already has the label on it. It's like this, we are not allowed to save paper. We're not allowed to save stuff in our house. And then I bought these, hopefully I won't get in trouble for showing that. They were like 60 cents for 3 bags, 2/3. They said there was 1%. All the pictures have snow on them. Snow in the sleigh, Santa Claus, snow, snowman, kids, and the snowman, Christmas tree on the porch, a big snowy field. It's like a lake in the background. This is how I grew up. Wouldn't sled a dog, like with a hat, kids with hats. Big kid, little kid, like a parent, 2 kids. Wooden birds standing on the old house. That's how I grew up. On the lake in Michigan. In the snow. With a wooden sled. That was my brother's. A dog. I did that thing one time. Where I think I got on, someone had given us some skis. I had got on some skis. Went down the end of the street with my dog and got the skis out. And grabbed the leash. I was like, yeah! I only did that like once. I was like, run! Run! I was like, I got a dog! Yeah. I watched so much TV and I'd see like this sled dog that she was German Shepherd Lab, so she was probably way close. 40 pounds. But she was like pulling down the street on us on these skis. Oh, I wish I could do something like that. Now that's about out. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of dogs just to be able to let my kids do that. I might have done it on the sled, but you don't want to hurt the dog. Skis are good because it's so slippery. Because you know that this type of dog, when you're raising that dog like that, when you're a kid, they're pulling on you all the time, and you're dragging in the woods, chasing after animals, and so it's like, well, they like to be pulling and tugging anyway. Just put the skis on, let them go for it. It's like now you can actually. I see people with their big dogs. Their dogs like pulling them out into the street, and they're trying to like. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna judge. I done had a big old dog like that. Those things are strong. And it's like sometimes like my mom could train a dog, but I felt like more of an alpha I was, because I was a child, and I felt that my mom could go out in the garage and train the dog for 5 minutes. She'd train the dog every trick, and I was like, I've been trying for months. But I felt like part of it is because of maybe the alpha quality of who's the boss right now. The child is trying to teach the dog, and it's like, no, it's like we're equals. So my mom would go out there and be like, okay, your dog is trained. Family members didn't have a lot of pets. None of my family members hardly have pets. I love pets. It's expensive. It's better to have your own house. It's better to have a big house and be able to have all of their, even my rodents, they have like whole shelves and closets full of cages and toys and stuffing and fluffing and chew toys and food containers and hay and all this junk. I saw it end up paying for Timothy hay bales. I'm like, dude, if I had my own place, I would so bring this type of stuff we do with my dog. We'd go to the country and get hay for cheap, bring it back, and keep it in there for the dog to sleep on. And I feel bad that she slept outside, but we give her hay, straw, and I would do that for my animal. So my eye never has any bugs or mold. I'm kind of scared, but I was like, oh, that would be cool if I had like a garage or a bed that would I could keep the pest out of it. But when you live in this public housing, even I get the small bags now. For my guinea pig, I get the big bags, but not the big, not the 96 ounces, because then it seems stale. They give you poor quality. Smaller bags have better quality hay, and then they cost more per pound. So, yeah, I feel like every day there's another note, another letter telling me what a loser I am. And I just get it's another bill. I'm looking for a lawyer that I don't want to hire. I should probably take it out right now. I don't want to hire a lawyer, but I have no idea how to deal with this car accident, and I'm afraid that everything is going to go to the lawyer, and I'll end up with like $5 and be like, oh, this sucks. Like, I'm serious. I want my medical bills paid for, and I want my lost wages paid for, and I'm not sure how to go about doing that. Anyways, it's dark outside. Yesterday around 2 o'clock, street lights came. Maybe it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The street lights came on, and my daughter is like, "Why can't we be like a rabbit and sleep? It's dark. It's cold. It's wet. It's sleepy time. There's no birds outside. Sometimes you see the birds still. I see no birds, and I'm upset because I try so hard to be self-sufficient and to put myself through school and study my butt off and set up a business and set up my license and not have any crimes, and then all of a sudden it's like every day it's like you're doing something wrong, and I have to kind of stand up and say, as a student, you're treat it like a child. Even if you're an adult, you turn in a quiz and you either fail or you pass it. 97 times would put a smiley face on it saying, great job. And to treat you like a child, it's like, I've been out of school only for a few months, because I went through winter term and beginning of the year, and it got out in spring. So a few months ago, I took my last class, and I'm still a student because I'm doing the midwifery training. And that's what I was going to say about my schedule being so, like, I feel like if I knew my kids have school on a certain day, and I know there's a certain time that I kept in the morning, like dentist, lawyer, like different things, and if I know they do inspections on a certain day and time, I mark that in my schedule as a kind of a permanent basis. And then my kid's schedule changes. Sometimes she has extra classes and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it goes into, like, all of a sudden it goes to there was a couple of days I knew I could do midwifery, and I was working at nights and all day on Friday. And so the appointment, like, they would say, yeah, you can come to these, you can come to these, you can come to these, and you can come to these. But now people assume that now I can come to these and these and these and these and these. But I was working 20 hours a week and taking care of my kid this day. Now I'm working 40 hours a week. Plus, I keep getting spread. And I look at my schedule and I'm like, okay, I'm working 9 to 5. Like, oh, well, this person says I have to do this thing at 10:30. Oh, this person, and now I had to do a doctor's appointment. When's the next available? So you feel like, as a no-brainer, keep the kids' school schedule. That's mandatory by law. Keep your doctor's appointments, because I went so long having people telling me you're not allowed to go to a doctor because you don't have time for that. And most doctors I know are not open around after 5 or on weekends. One of them is open on this Sunday, but that's just one. And that was really hard, because then I was going to work in midwifery Monday through Saturday regularly, and then doctor on Sunday. It was really hard. But yeah, I feel like it's just time to pray, and I should probably eat. I love. Oh my God, it's getting worse and worse. And yesterday I was thinking about Job. I was just thinking about my normal circumstance of being in severe debt and trying to get out of debt, trying to postpone my loans because they wanted me last year to pay $3,500, and the interest's gone up, so it's probably around $4,000 a month. I can't even pay that much a year because my income this year was $10,000. I was working, and then I lost my job in September, and I was like, oh my God, like, it would have been, if I worked through the end of the year, it would have been like, what, 13,000 or 14,000. And I spent this year around fall and winter, so fall was before 2015. Yeah. Winter term was January. So if you add it in fall and winter, like 10 grand. Midwifery and doula training classes, out of pocket, no loans, except for, my own credit card and stuff. And I'm kicking myself because a part of me wishes I used that money to A, pay off my loan, and B, to get an office space or get a better office space. So I think, like, right now I feel so discouraged, and I had got off Facebook because everyone was bragging, and I was ridiculous, like, oh, this huge dinner for Thanksgiving, and they have 15 relatives, and all the kids are playing, and people are out in the snow, and the dogs are playing with the cats, and I was just like, I don't even remember things, do anything. My daughter to work, and pick her and a neighbor girl up 2 hours later. And then I knew I didn't have money. I wanted so bad to have the money to go buy socks on Black Friday. I was willing to sit in line for 3 hours to get socks. And I got online and seen the ads. People were like, the socks are out. Only little kid sizes left. So I was like, oh, forget it. Like, I should have been one of those people. Like, I just wanted to do it one day, but I wanted to be one of those people that had extra $50 in my pocket to go save socks for my family. But I didn't have that $50 or the $20, and it's not worth it to stand in line for 3 hours for one pair of socks. Maybe next year. Maybe I'll set aside like $7. Next year I'm buying myself one pair of socks. If you think time is money, you're like, oh, that's where your minimum wage, standing in line for 3 hours for one pair of socks. I don't know if it's worth saving 50 cents, or maybe you save 50%. I don't know. So I just did cards that day, and then I tried to call relatives, saying, when I asked for much, can you pray for us, me and my kids? I have a failing business. I went to medical school, but I can't work as a doctor because I don't know how to get patients, and I declined all the talks that people knew I was a physician. They wanted me to come talk to their group, and I declined them all because of my work as a non-physician job. And in order to maintain that job, I wanted to bend over backwards, do everything they said, jump how high, for the housing program and for the midwife. I wanted to keep all my positions, and I wanted to keep from being evicted. But I know if it's my own business and my own license and my own patients, nobody is going to just hold my hand and say, let me help you do your career. And in fact, most people are trying really hard to prevent me from doing my career and to discourage me. Most people have told me that I will never be able to practice and I'll never know how to run a business, that it's too hard for someone like me. And I think what's too hard is, if you saw my schedule book, it's completely packed. So I said, let's take a step back and do some medical I've been neglecting and deal with this injuries from this auto accident. Like, this morning I woke up, I had gone to the chiropractor a couple times and I felt some relief, and now it's like, oh shoot, this is how it was before. You'd go and you'd feel like, oh, I feel good, but I don't know if it really helped. And then like 3 or 4 or 5 days go by and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like miserable again. And I went to the doctor yesterday, was chipper. Last time I was crying. I was in so much pain, I almost went to 911 to the emergency room. I was in so much pain that I was just like it was consuming every. And I said, no, get ready for these inspections. I gotta take my kids to school. I gotta set up my business. And then I was just like, I don't know. It physically, hormonally, like everything. Your body's trying to regulate dealing with this pain, and if you're a sick animal or something in nature, you're going to nurse your wound and let your body rest, and you might fast from food and drink water and stuff for sickness and injuries, because you need to hide out, because people also call me weak. The most I've been called weak has been after this car accident, and I can't even lift because I was told not to, and then now you lose your muscles, and I'm like, I really am weak. And I have these headaches where I'm just like, don't do anything. Don't do anything. It's just like, don't even move. It's almost like someone has a gun to your head. It's just like so much. I mean, it's that intimidating. It's just like, it's the death of me. It's just like, it feels like your head's snapping off. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I don't want my worst enemy to have this amount of pain. So I never set any of my cards. I've been overwhelmed. I didn't set any boundaries. The manager me. I'm just lazy and doing nothing, and I'm like I went downstairs this morning to turn my hot water on. I got stuck halfway down the stairs and I couldn't move because of pain, and my knee is messed up. It's been messed up since I hit it on the door or something. Like the car door when the car hit us, and I'm like, because I was trying to wear this knee brace. I'm like, I don't know, I've been sleeping in this stupid thing. It's so bad. I was like, I need to let my skin breathe. This thing, I don't know, it's like a neoprene or something, but I'm like, I just stopped on the stairs and I had to like rub my leg out and hobble myself down, and I'm just like, this sucks. I like stairs because they give you exercise and stuff. But it was hard enough. It's hard to walk on flat ground, but I had to physically stop today, and I'm just like, I wanted to get better and healed and not aggravate anything. So that's where I am right now. I'm sorry. I really feel bad that I spent so much time talking, and post a video and make a shortened version. It's dark outside. It's almost Christmas. I'm on call for 2 births. I don't want to be, because I'm so overwhelmed, and then I'm just saying, God, please guide me what to do. Because sometimes you pray for something and then it happens and it's really hard, and then so for me, I wonder, am I doing what I asked God to guide me to do? Or am I needing to just stop and take care of my health? And I have been told to get a bunch of medicines from my doctor too, so I need to do that. I have a gift card I lost that expired, and they gave me until the end of the week. So that's what I'm going to do right now to get my mind off. I keep saying, which is why I never ordered anything in the first place. Everything I was allergic to had corn in it. They're like, oh, just get stuff for your patients. I don't have any. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta keep thinking positive. So with that, I'm gonna go pray that God sends me the right guidance towards this set of births, and that I really set boundaries with what my body can do. And people call me weak so many times that when I'm not able to do something, I don't do it, and then they scold me. But what I'm not doing is speaking up, saying, at this time I'm not able to do this. At this time I can't lift this. At this time I can't carry this down the stairs. I can barely carry my own weight. And, I can't donate a cause. I can't donate. I can't do this. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and find that gift certificate, because it's the end of the week and I need to contact these people now before I have problems. And I wanted to order pancreatine, which is glandular. It's probably from pork, I don't know. And I was like, dude, I've been vegetarian. I don't really want a gland of an animal right now. And then I was like, so other stuff had corn and maltodextrin and corn and sugar in it, vitamin D. So choose I can't even find anything in this whole catalog that I want. If I have Muslims come, they're not getting gelatin in it. I'm like, I don't like to. Sometimes I just want the whole herb in a bag, or I can dish it into another bag, put a label on it, and give them. That's what I want. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and just be joyful and ask God to guide me in my prayers so that I can stay positive, because that's, I've been discouraged for most of my kids' life. Before, I was kind of homeless and didn't have a lot of, it was surviving was my only daily, my only activity was keep from dying in the desert, keep from being bit by rattlesnakes. That, there was a period of my life after my mom's died, was straight up survival. And we had a bunch of pets, so making sure everyone minimally got water on a daily basis. And there was a different mindset of trying to maintain a house, trying to maintain this car, and we had a Jeep, and it didn't really break. Trying to maintain a Jeep, job, and trying to maintain all these rules of the government that I feel like we're straight up being boiled in water, frogs boiled in water. I feel like canary in the coal mine. I'm just but then it's I'm not trying to be the people that are trying to hide money, launder money, and work under the table, and people have refugees living up in their house, and I got some guy the government keeps looking for that claim to live here and all this. Those are the people that seem to be sitting there watching satellite TV, laughing and eating good ethnic food and not worried, and I'm trying to follow every rule to the T, and I feel I don't know, I just feel I get penalized for trying to be a good citizen, trying to raise my kids upright, and try to follow the law, pay my taxes, and work hard, I feel like I'm being penalized. It'd be like right now if I booked out for a year, because I actually advertised and then started making money and paid off my loans and bought a house and sent my kids to college. I'd be very honest with you, very self-sufficient, very, what's the word? Anyways, it's like, it seems like the more I do stuff like that, the more that I have to answer this by